One of the things I tell my drivers at BabyRace is that you can be as fast as you want, but if you're not strong in the head, they cannot win. If they win, it's just because they have so much more pace to pull away from the rest of the group. But even then, to be able to have that sort of pace, you need to be strong in the head. And I really mean it, because speed is not enough. You can be literally as fast as you want, be one, two, three tenths faster than anybody else, which by the way is very difficult, especially at the very competitive levels of WSK, Champions of the Future, CIK races. It's very difficult to be even one tenth faster than the others, let alone two or three tenths. So when you have pretty much the same pace as the top 10 drivers, top 15 drivers on the grid, then what differentiates you and what gives you the higher chances of winning is your mental strength. And I've seen it through my years. When I was fast, but I wasn't strong in the head, I would, yeah, I would set fastest laps, I would set pole positions, but I wouldn't get any podiums or race wins because I would be get thrown around by the others who were stronger than me in the head. But then when I made a click, when I understood, okay, I need to get respected on the track. I need to build, a name for of myself, and I need to get a good reputation. And I honestly, it's not just about what the other things about the other people think about you. It's more on you acknowledging your value. You're not acknowledging how fast you are, your potential. So having confidence in yourself, I think that is very important. And unfortunately, not many drivers have that. To be honest, I believe that not so many people, like not so many drivers have that confidence, that inner confidence, but maybe there's a reason why they don't have it. Maybe you don't feel worthy. Maybe you don't feel like they're putting the hard work, enough hard work as some of the other drivers are doing, some of their teammates. So it makes sense to me. Sometimes as I said, I see drivers that are really fast, but they probably know inside of themselves that they're not probably putting the full work, you know, at the track, outside of the track, the discipline to review data, video analysis, and doing the physical training at home so that they can basically arrive at the track with more endurance, with more strength, so that they can be more up to pace and just like withstand all of the race weekend in any conditions. So I think when you don't have that hard work and discipline mentality, you're not going to have the mental strength because you're not going to think that you deserve to win. It's a bit complicated, but I think it kind of works like that. So it's not like it doesn't work like that you're like, okay, let's become mentally strong. No, to become mentally strong, it's a sequence of processes that I believe are done mostly before going to track. So before, when you arrive at the track, you're already either strong in the head or not strong in the head in that specific race. And to arrive strong in the head, what I've noticed is that, as I said, physical exercises help you a lot, a lot, a lot, because when you're doing physical exercise, say you're running or cycling or swimming, and you have to do it for a prolonged period of time. Let's say you have to go running for like 15 kilometers or 20 kilometers, or you have to cycle, like bike for 100 kilometers, or you have to swim for 2 3 kilometers. When you have that sort of milestone to reach and you feel like giving up, the fact that you're not giving up and you're reaching that, it makes you stronger in the end. It makes you more resilient. And I think that when I started to do really training hard back in the days, is the moment when I actually made a big shift in the mentality, and that gave me more confidence to go out and win more races. So for all the aspiring racing winners out there, I tell, listen, if you want to be mentally strong, it's not just about positive affirmations. You close your eyes and you think like, oh, I'm mentally strong, I'm gonna win. No, I think that kind of shit doesn't work. You don't have to fake it. You need to feel inside of you. You need to feel strong inside of you. Not physically only, but also mentally. But what I've noticed is to get strong mentally, you also have to get strong physically. And I'm not saying bodybuilder strong. No, I'm talking about resistance. I'm talking about endurance. This kind of things. So I think this is a very important point that not so many drivers put enough attention on. If they did, they would get better results. But as I said, it's all a part of a process. As any athlete, it's not just about racing drivers. Any athlete, mental strength is important in any sport. You can be so good with your skills, But if every time that the race arrives, like the moment to deliver arrives, you are cracking under pressure and you're literally underperforming, like you're underperforming to your abilities, to your skills, then that there's nothing else you can do for your skills to compensate that. It's something that has to be in your mental state. And the mental state, I've discovered over the years, is that it's the most variable thing. It's like it's the thing that gets affected the most, and it's the most variable. Like you can lose 3/4 of driving, let's say, simply because your mental state is on the right place. And that's much more important than anything else you can do on your go-kart, the chassis, the engine, the tires, or in your skills. Like you won't find 3/4 overnight, but you can find them or lose them with your mentality. Again, the major part of your mentality, I would say, is your mental strength. So yeah, you need to consider this. If you're not mentally strong yet, you'll probably be aware of that. Like you can notice it yourself. People around you notice it if you're mentally strong or not. It's not like you don't know it. It's like people know it. And there's always on the grid those 2 3 drivers that are very strong mentally, and the others they are not so much, and those strong ones are like the wolves, the sharks. All the others are the small fishes ready to get eaten. I kind of feel it like that. I've seen legendary drivers like Verstappen in karting. They were so strong mentally. I also had the chance to be teammate with Leclerc and with Charles in Formula 3. He was so strong mentally. Honestly, when the race would come or the qualifying would come, he would make a switch. And even if it would be like quite playful, quite, approachable during the practices or during the training, then when the qualifying came, it would be just unbelievable. It would be so good. And like you could find lap time where nobody could. I like yeah, it was a real proof of mental strength, I would say. And yeah, Max was the same. I never had the chance to be teammate with him, but in karting, I was looking up to him so much. I was like, this guy. Like you could see he didn't really have any friends on the track. He would just like be him and his dad, and you could see the guy was there to win. He was not there to play around. And if he wasn't winning, finishing P2 or P3, he was pissed. He was pissed off. And yeah, that guy is just he won so many races in karting, and now in Formula One. And there's a reason why that happens. It's there's a correlation with your mental strength. Yeah. So my suggestion to you is try to build that mental strength. There's a bunch of exercises that you could do to build that mental strength. And as I said, it's not gonna happen on day one. It's not gonna happen overnight. It's a process. As I said, there's little you can do on the track while you're driving that can affect your mental strength. I think most of the work has to be done outside of the kart. So when you're in the team tent, and or when you're home, so at the gym, training around, like whatever kind of sports you're doing. There's also some mental coaches over the years that have helped a lot of drivers. I didn't have the chance, unfortunately, to work a lot with mental coaches. I wish I did. I had a few interactions with them, and I got some really good benefits out of it. I wish I got introduced to that earlier on. But yeah, there's some really good mental coaches that can help you with that. They could help you to channel your potential and extrapolate the maximum so that you, at the same time, building your mental strength so you can develop better performance. But yeah, other than that, so other than from the psychological side, as I said, I believe that building the hard work mentality so that you're doing the work physically at home, so you're fully ready when you go to the track and you don't feel weak, you don't feel like getting tired. Because if you feel like you're getting tired after 5 laps, well, because the track is very grippy and you're starting to complain the car being too heavy and like whatever, if you have those kind of issues, then when you'll be driving, it's gonna be just you and yourself, like you and your mind are gonna be driving, and you're gonna hear that inner voice being like, oh, you're weak, you didn't train, you could have trained physically, you could have gone for the run, you could have gone for the swim, you could have gone for the gym, but instead you decided to play Minecraft, you decided to watch TikTok, you decided to play whatever game you have, or like your mind is gonna tell you these kind of things in the back of your in the back of your head, and if this conversation keeps going on, you're gonna be staying weak, you're gonna staying mentally weak, and you're not gonna develop the winner mentality, you're gonna develop the loser mentality, which is not what you want to have. But again, so building yourself from the little things, from the small things, you're gonna basically become stronger. So when you're on the track, the fact you're gonna be doing data analysis, video analysis, pretty much every session, doing the work with your mechanic, cleaning the car, doing all sorts of things that are gonna increase the likelihood of you succeeding, of you improving. But also the fact that you've done the work is then going to positively affect you, and you've been like, okay, your mind is gonna know. You can't cheat, you can't lie to your mind, you can't fake it. If your mind knows, if you have put the full work, if you put all of the maximum hardest work you could have done, or instead you've been lazy, you procrastinated. I think laziness is the biggest, yeah, it's the biggest killer of mental strength. If you're lazy, you won't put in the hard work. If you don't put in the hard work, your mind is gonna tell you you're weak. That's what I see. And if you do that, people's gonna notice it when you're going on the track. You seem like, if you feel weak, people can tell. Your teammates, your competitors, mechanics, they can tell it. And so as soon as they find you, you're gonna pass you. Then yeah, they're gonna make fun of you, etc. So I believe this is what's happening with mental strength. It's everybody wants to develop it, but not everybody's willing to put in the hard work to develop, like, to become that mentally strong. But yeah, if you want to be outstanding, if you want to go out there and win races and become the fastest, best driver on the grid and the most successful, because being fast is not enough. Being the most successful is what makes a difference. Yeah, if you want to become that, then you have to really put in all of the work to become so mentally strong, and that automatically, when you're so strong in the head, you're gonna make less mistakes. People are gonna notice that, they're gonna fear you, they're gonna respect you, and you'll be more consistent. You're gonna get better headspace, and yeah, your results are gonna reflect on your inner feeling. Conversations you're gonna have in your head, they're gonna be like good conversations, and instead of having weak, bad conversations going on. All right, I hope that helps. Let me know what you think. That's my personal opinion. I'll be curious to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you.